You stripped that mattress down to the foam and the smell was still there. Not faint, not even a little bit. Not almost gone. It was very much still there. Still there, rising up out of the material like it had been sealed inside, because it had. You sprayed something on it. Maybe you sprayed 2 or 3 things on it. You blotted, you scrubbed, you let it dry, you put the sheets back on, and 2 days later, on a warm afternoon, the room smelled like it again. That is the part nobody warns you about with memory foam. The liquid does not sit on top. It wicks down into the cell structure of the foam itself, and once it is in there, surface sprays do not reach it. They clean the top 1/4 inch and leave everything underneath untouched. The fix for this costs about $5. 2 ingredients. One you have, the other is cheap. You already have one of them in your kitchen cabinet right now. The other one costs $3 at any grocery store. That is the whole shopping list. And the part that is going to stick with you, the part that might make you a little frustrated when you understand it, is not the method itself. It is how simple the method is and how long the cleaning product industry has been selling you things that were never designed to actually solve this problem. I want you to stay through the end of this because the second half of what I am going to share is the part people skip. And that skip is exactly why the smell comes back and why, left long enough, you end up with something worse than a smell. You end up with mold growing inside a mattress you cannot see into. People call me Annie Hemingway. I spent the better part of my life on an Appalachian homestead up in the Blue Ridge, and before I ever had a store-bought anything, I was keeping fabric goods clean and dry. The women who raised me knew that moisture and organic matter together, left sealed up inside any kind of bedding, would turn on you. They had no products. They had the same things I am going to tell you about today, plus good sense about airflow and time. That is what I am passing along. If that kind of knowledge is worth something to you, go ahead and subscribe. Old homestead methods for real home problems. That is what I put out. And keeping your bedroom clean, dry, and free of smell is something every household needs to know. Drop something in the comments before you keep listening. I want to know where you are watching from, and I want to know this. Have you ever gotten rid of a mattress because you could not get the smell out when the mattress itself was otherwise fine? I read every comment that comes in. And if you would rather keep this one on in the background while you are working around the house, making the bed, doing laundry, whatever needs doing, I am on Spotify now. The code is right on the screen and the link is in the description below. The reason most sprays fail on memory foam has nothing to do with the strength of the product. It has to do with the structure of the material, and once you understand that, the whole method makes sense on its own. Memory foam is not fabric. That sounds obvious when you say it out loud, but it changes everything about how you have to approach cleaning it. Fabric has a surface. It absorbs liquid, yes, but the fibers are individual. Memory foam is a different thing entirely. It is a dense matrix of interconnected open cells. It is a dense matrix of interconnected open cells, almost like a sponge made of rubber, and when liquid goes into it, the cells hold that liquid in place. The foam compresses slightly when wet and then closes back around the moisture as it expands again. What that means in practical terms is that the liquid is not sitting near the top waiting to be blotted away. It travels down and inward, and it stays there deep within the foam. The outer inch or 2 of the foam may feel dry within a few hours, but deeper in, the liquid and everything dissolved in it is still present. Urine is the specific challenge here because of what it contains. The ammonia in fresh urine is sharp and immediate, and that is what you smell right away. But urine also contains uric acid crystals, and those crystals do not dissolve in plain water. They do not break down from scrubbing no matter how hard you try. They bind to the foam cells and they sit there quietly, and every time the room gets warm or humid, those crystals release their odor again. That is the smell that comes back after you thought you had cleaned it. It's a frustrating cycle. That is why the spray you used seemed to work for a few days and then did not. The spray addressed the ammonia at the surface. The uric acid was still inside. Plain water makes this worse, not better, if you use too much of it. Flooding the area drives the liquid deeper into the foam. Cold water in small controlled amounts can help dilute, but volume is the enemy. The goal from the first moment is to pull moisture out and upward, not push it down. Start with what is already in the foam. Lay a clean, dry, white cotton cloth flat over the wet area and press down firmly with both hands. Hold the pressure for a count of 30. Do not rub, do not scrub, do not drag the cloth across the surface. Straight down pressure only. That's the secret to pulling moisture out. The goal is to draw liquid up into the cloth. You'll see it start to work. Fold to a dry section and press again. Always keep a clean section on the stain. Keep doing this until the cloth comes up without much moisture on it. Patience is key. This step matters more than people give it credit for. You are reducing the volume of liquid inside the foam. When you have blotted as much as you can, mix 1 part plain white distilled vinegar with 1 part cold water in a spray bottle. White distilled vinegar, the kind that costs about $3 a gallon at any grocery store. Spray the affected area generously, but not soaking. You want the foam damp with the mixture, not flooded. The vinegar is doing 2 things at once. The acetic acid in it neutralizes the alkaline ammonia compounds on contact, and the vinegar itself begins breaking down some of the organic material that the uric acid has bonded to. You will smell the vinegar strongly while this is happening. That is the method working. Let the vinegar solution sit on the foam for 10 full minutes. Do not rush this step. The contact time is what makes it effective. It needs that time to work deep. After 10 minutes, blot again with a clean, dry cloth using the same firm downward pressure. You are drawing the vinegar mixture and everything it has loosened back up and out of the foam. Now open your box of baking soda. This is the final layer. Plain baking soda, any grocery store brand, about $2, clean and simple. Pour it over the damp area generously. You want a visible layer covering the entire zone. What baking soda does is absorb. It pulls remaining moisture and odor compounds upward out of the foam cells as it sits. The sodium bicarbonate also continues the neutralization process the vinegar began, working from a different chemical direction. Leave the baking soda on the mattress for a minimum of 8 hours. Let it settle. Overnight is better. 12 hours is better still. Time is your friend here. Do not cover it. Do not press it in. Do not disturb it. Let it sit and work. In the morning or after your waiting time is up, vacuum the baking soda off completely. Work slowly and make 2 or 3 passes. You want all of it off the surface. What you have done at this point is neutralize the ammonia and begin breaking down the compounds. The mattress will still be slightly damp. That is normal and expected. Damp foam in a closed room is a problem that compounds quietly. You cannot see inside a mattress. You cannot feel what is happening deep below. And memory foam, because of its dense cell structure, holds moisture in its interior. That interior dampness, left without airflow, creates exactly the conditions that mold needs. Mold inside a mattress does not announce itself right away. It grows slowly. By that point, the mold is already present, and no surface treatment will reach it. The drying step is not optional. It is not a nice extra thing to do if you have time. It is the difference between a mattress that is genuinely clean and one that is building a problem. Pull the mattress off the bed frame if you can manage it. Stand it on its edge against a wall or prop it at an angle. Get moving air on both surfaces. A flat mattress drying face up traps moisture against its underside. Standing it up lets air reach every surface. That's the real homestead way. Set a box fan directly in front of the cleaned area and run it on high. Point it straight at the foam, close enough that you can feel the air moving across the surface from about 3 feet away. Open a window in the room if the weather allows. What you are doing is creating airflow across and through the outer cells of the foam, drawing that interior moisture outward and away. On a dry day with a fan running, a mattress treated this way needs a minimum of 8 hours before you put any bedding back on it. On a humid day or in a room without good ventilation, give it 12. If you have the ability to move the mattress to a covered porch or a dry garage with the door open, do it. Moving air from the outside is better than a fan in a closed bedroom. It is absolutely critical that you do not use heat on the foam. Do not point a space heater at the foam. Do not use a hair dryer. Do not set the mattress in direct afternoon sun for hours on end. Memory foam is sensitive to sustained high heat. It can degrade the cell structure and cause the foam to become brittle or uneven in ways you will feel when you sleep on it. The old way of drying things was always moving cool air, not applying heat, and it is the right way here too. Pressing your palm flat against the treated area before you redress the bed. If you feel any coolness at all, that slight cool dampness that tells you moisture is still present, the mattress is not ready. Give it more time to dry completely. That test costs you nothing and tells you everything you need to know. There are things this method will not fix, and I would rather be plain about that than have you find out the hard way. If the mattress has been wet and closed up for more than 2 or 3 days before treatment, mold may already be growing inside the foam where you cannot reach it. Vinegar and baking soda work at the surface and into the upper layers, but they cannot penetrate deep enough to address mold that has colonized the interior cells of a thick mattress. If the odor that comes back after thorough drying is damp and heavy rather than sharp and ammonia-like, that is mold, not residual urine, and a mattress in that condition needs to be replaced. No home treatment will make it safe to sleep on. This method also works best on fresh accidents treated within the first few hours. A stain that has dried and set over days or weeks has had time to bond more deeply to the foam cells, and while the treatment will still reduce the odor significantly, it may not eliminate it entirely on the first pass. You can repeat the baking soda layer a second time after the mattress has dried fully. A second application pulled through fresh dry foam will often catch what the first pass loosened but did not fully draw out. The habit that makes all of this unnecessary most of the time is a fitted cotton mattress protector, not a plastic-backed waterproof cover which traps heat and moisture and makes the sleeping surface uncomfortable, but a plain quilted cotton protector that can be pulled off and washed in hot water. About $12 to $15 at a big box store or online. That layer intercepts the liquid before it ever reaches the foam. Wash it monthly whether it needs it or not. Rotate the mattress every 3 months so that any area that has taken more use and more moisture over time gets rested and aired. These are not complicated habits. They are the same logic my grandmother used with the feather beds and wool mattress pads on the homestead. Keep the surface layer washable, keep the interior dry, and air everything regularly. A bed that breathes does not hold smell. The mattress cleaning industry, the sprays, the enzyme treatments marketed specifically for pet and child accidents, the foam-safe odor eliminators, is built almost entirely around the surface problem. The products are designed to address what you can smell immediately, because that is the thing that made you pick up the bottle in the store. They are not designed around the physics of what memory foam actually does to liquid, because solving that problem does not require a proprietary formula. It requires understanding the material, 2 ingredients that cost $5 combined, and patience with the drying time. There is no profit in that. A bottle with a label and a scent and a promise is a product someone can sell. Baking soda and white vinegar and a box fan are not. The cleaning product aisle did not create this problem, and the people who make those sprays are not setting out to mislead you. The market simply rewards what sells, and what sells is something that smells like it is working and dries fast. The method that actually works does not smell like a product and does not dry fast. That mismatch is the whole story. My grandmother kept a farmhouse that had no central heat and no air conditioning, and every spring when the heavy damp of the Appalachian winter finally lifted, she aired every piece of bedding in that house. Feather beds, quilted comforters, wool pads, all of it came off the frames and went outside to the back porch railing or over the fence line, and it stayed there for the better part of a day. Not in direct midday sun, because she knew heat broke down the materials. In the shade, with the spring air moving through them. She said a bed that had been closed up all winter was holding 6 months of warmth and breath and body, and that no amount of fresh linen on top of it changed what was inside it. You had to let the air do the work. She did the same thing after any kind of illness in the house. When one of the children ran a fever and sweated through the night, the mattress pad came off in the morning and the bedding went to the line. And the pad itself got the vinegar treatment, a cloth wrung out in diluted white vinegar, pressed over the surface, then aired flat until it was completely dry before it went back on the bed. There is no need to go to a specialized store. You don't need a proprietary cleaning product. No waiting for something to be ordered or mixed or prescribed. What was under the kitchen sink and what came in from the outside air, and the knowledge of how to use both of them together, that knowledge did not come from a book. It came from watching and from doing, and from the women in our hollow who had kept homes standing and families healthy through conditions that would have broken a lot of what gets sold to us today as necessary. They were not doing anything mystical. They were working with the nature of the materials, understanding that fabric and foam and fiber all behave according to the same basic rules, that moisture trapped inside anything warm will eventually turn, and that moving air and simple chemistry are almost always enough to stop that from happening if you use them correctly and give them enough time. That is the whole of what I have shared with you today. 2 ingredients, 1 fan, and the patience to let the process finish. Go to the grocery store and pick up a gallon of plain white distilled vinegar, about $3. Pick up a box of plain baking soda, any brand, about $2. If you do not already have a spray bottle, a dollar store bottle works perfectly well. Keep clean white cotton cloths or old rags on hand. Worn-out cotton tea towels are ideal because they are absorbent and leave no lint. That is the full supply list. $5, maybe $6, and things you likely already have. When the accident happens, and if there are children or pets or elderly family members in the house, it will happen. Go to it immediately. Blot with firm downward pressure using a dry cloth until you have pulled out as much liquid as the cloth will take. Spray the area with your 1-to-1 vinegar and cold water mixture, covering the full affected zone. Let it sit for 10 minutes. Then take your cloth and blot the area again. Cover the damp area with a generous layer of baking soda, a visible 1/4-inch layer across the whole zone, and leave it undisturbed for 8 to 12 hours. Vacuum it off completely with your upholstery attachment, making 2 or 3 slow passes. Then stand the mattress on its edge, set a box fan pointed directly at the cleaned surface, and let moving air do the rest. 8 hours minimum on a dry day, 12 on a humid one. Press your palm to the surface before you put the bedding back on. If the surface feels cool, it means it is still damp. Dampness tells you that it needs more time to dry. When the surface feels the same temperature as the air in the room, the foam is ready. Put a fitted quilted cotton mattress protector on it before you make the bed. $12 to $15, washable in hot water, and the most useful thing you can do to make sure you are never standing over a wet mattress at 2 in the morning trying to remember what to do. You should wash that protector monthly. Rotate the mattress every 3 months. Those 2 habits kept up are worth more than any spray on the shelf. If this is the kind of practical household knowledge that is useful to you, there is a subscribe button and I hope you will use it. Keeping a home clean, dry, and well-maintained without spending money you do not need to spend, that is what I put out, and there is a good deal more of it to come. And drop something in the comments. I want to hear from you. Has this happened to you, and what did you try before you found something that actually worked? Every single comment gets read. The natural next thing to think about, after you have the mattress sorted, is the rest of the bedroom, the fabric headboard, the upholstered base, the curtains that have been closed through a long winter. Damp and odor do not stay in one place. The same principles that cleared the mattress apply everywhere soft material holds air and moisture, and the method is just as simple. That is worth its own careful conversation. A dry bed in a clean room is one of the plainest forms of comfort a home can offer. The old women understood that. They protected it without fuss, with what they had, and they passed the knowledge down so it would not have to be relearned the hard way. This knowledge is yours and you have it now.